Hey, hello. Welcome to episode number 82 of the People We Love podcast. I am Adam Choit. What's up? If you're new here, what I do is interview people from all walks of life, often comedians and other artists about their lives and careers. It's casual conversation, but I also ask everyone to highlight someone they love, someone who they admire, who influenced them, inspired them, supported them. For more, check out peoplewelovepodcast.com. That's peoplewelovepodcast.com. And the Instagram handle is peoplewelovepodcast. And you can find me on Instagram as well, Adam Choit, my name, if you want to follow me too. And please remember to tap subscribe or follow on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. And of course, positive 5-star reviews on iTunes are greatly appreciated as well. So, today's guest is comedian Alex Pavone. Born and raised in Toronto, Canada, this current longtime New York City resident grew up loving sports. But when he saw Eddie Murphy's legendary stand-up special Delirious for the first time as a teenager, this was the beginning to Alex's path into comedy. Along the way, though, he met fellow Canadian comedian and friend Dave Merheje, who inspired him to pursue comedy. Dave was also a big influence on Alex's comedy. Let's just get started. Here's Alex Pavone. So it's good to see you today, Alex Pavone.
Nailed it, buddy.
Thumbs up. He gave me the thumbs up on the last name. Either one is acceptable, Pavone or Pavone, but his dad prefers.
Well, yeah, my dad's off the boat, so he's very he wants our name to be said correctly.
I feel like we can just get into it, to be honest with you, like because we got your dad the last name right off the boat. I feel like that's a good segue right into your life, and you're from Canada, correct?
Yeah, I'm from Toronto. Yeah.
Was it born and raised?
Yeah, born and raised in Toronto, and I live in New York now, but I've lived there since 2014. I forgot what year we were in. 2014. How can I forget this year? Of all the goddamn years to forget. 2014 is when I moved to New York. But yeah, before that, Toronto.
And what do you remember from like the real early years, like 0 to 4 years old? Does anything even jump out at mind? Sometimes people remember shit at 2. Some people I don't remember any of that shit. It's funny.
I remember shit early. I have a very good memory. My long-term memory is good. My short-term memory is abysmal. But long-term, I have actually a really good memory. I don't know how much of it is true though. I think it's true. I think I remember things at 4, but then no one could back it up. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sociopath.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say it's either that or like people are not sure if they remember something or they were told that story over and over again as they grew up. So
exactly.
It sort of becomes a memory. It's like a blur.
Some things I know for sure. Like some things that I loosely know.
Like what? Like what? Let's.
I was a bit of a troublemaker as a kid. Like I was
like right away, always.
No, I was a good kid, but I was like a bit of a I was like hyper and stuff. So I was always getting getting hurt because I was like falling and doing stupid shit, shoving shit in my nose. I was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, I don't think that's not that unusual. Did you have siblings?
No siblings.
It
wasn't unusual. I'm not like killing cats and stuff. I'm not Jeffrey Dahmer, but I mean, like, I was just, I wasn't like a quiet kid. I was a handful. That's probably why my parents stopped.
Did you remember wanting a sibling? Or caring?
No, I didn't want siblings.
You didn't even want it. You didn't.
I said, let's keep this party going. This is all about me. Let's
make it all about you. I got you.
Continue to make it all about me. It was boring though. It definitely was. At 8, 9, you got no one to play with and stuff. You're like, this is brutal. How many times am I going to fight these wrestling buddies that my parents bought? Have a kid. Have a glass of wine, Dad. Bring mom upstairs and let's get me a tag team partner here. I'm dying. I can't.
And that's exactly what you told them in those words at that age.
I wish I had the courage to tell them for sure, but no, I did not. They probably would have not done it either. If I did tell them that, they'd be like, all right, kid.
Yeah, it seems like you're not sure if you wanted a sibling. It seemed like it was a mixed bag. Like you made the best of what you want. You would have made the best of whatever it was, and you did make the best.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do? You don't have one. So, I mean, like,
Yeah,
it is
well,
what
it's
it is
never too
now.
late. It's never too late. I mean,
Yeah, I think it might be
yeah, biological, I suppose.
biologically.
But what about like grades and like
No,
were
when
you?
I was in elementary
What do you?
school,
Yeah, what were you like then?
yeah, I tried, but then, when high school came, I just didn't want to be, I didn't like school. I just didn't think it was, I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I'm like, what the heck's the point of this? What am I going to do? Go to, go and take sociology? Like it was either work in the trades or, figure something else out. I didn't like school. So I skipped class. I didn't really go.
What trades?
Like plumbing, electrical, the good
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
stuff like
Stuff where
that.
there's always that stuff. There's always work.
Always. It'll never stop.
Yeah,
Yeah, because my dad works in construction, and I used to work with him, for years when I was in Toronto. I didn't really have him and my uncle have a business, but I never really had ambitions to take it over. But it was something like maybe not particularly that kind of construction, but in that field of construction. So
yeah. What
I
about
always
going?
thought,
Yeah, go on.
sorry? No,
No,
no.
yeah, I was just gonna say going back a little bit. What kind of kid were you, and more so, and what were you into? Did you play sports? Were you into music? Were you watching comedy? Like,
No, I played a lot of sports, and I have a lot of friends like to this day because of sports. Like we
yeah,
we played hockey and soccer together like all the time. So we still, a lot of my close friends we still keep in contact because of sports. So I was always like competitive, and I'm still competitive. I'm such a sore loser, and that's probably based on always doing some sort of sport against my buddy, or it didn't matter what sport. I would always I was always like trying to win. I was always just a competitive guy pretty much.
yeah. Did you win a lot?
Yeah, but I lost too. But I'm not a good loser. Like I'm a suck.
Yeah.
Now I'm a big suck.
Was anyone who you played sports with, were they good or super talented? Did anyone go far
Yeah, a lot of
in
them.
any of the sports, in hockey or
Yeah,
something else?
yeah, a lot of guys were really good. And then I have one friend. He's in the NHL. I got a couple guys who played
Uh,
college sports and stuff. But yeah, I still keep in touch with the guy who plays in the NHL. As much as we could. Our parents are really good friends. So, but he's got his own life right now, and he's got two kids, and he's traveling all the time. So, but yeah, no, it was. I've had a lot of people that even playing hockey, like just growing up playing hockey in Toronto, you play against guys who like make the NHL and stuff.
yeah.
They were my close friends, but I know them, like we know each other. But yeah,
Is anyone bad at hockey in Canada? Like, if they actually keep playing, they are bad. Even if you stick with it and you sort of, some
it's
people
hard.
are just inept.
No, it's a hard sport.
Athletic. Oh,
That shit ain't easy.
I'm not saying everyone is a star or is going to ascend, in the sport, but but everyone in Canada is not like, I feel like they're competent. Like if you hand a Canadian a stick and skates, they'll be like, oh, I know what to do with these.
No, there's a lot of ankle burners up here, bro. They're always just like they're like ankles bend in, and they're like they can't skate.
There's unathletic Canadians who even hockey
Believe it or
can't
not,
do.
in this country of nothing but pure athletes, yes, there are unathletic Canadians.
I feel like that's like racist or something. This line of questioning.
But who's gonna cancel you, bro? Who gives a shit? You didn't even
Yeah.
know how to work your mic 5 minutes ago. You're good.
Right.
Keep
Right.
firing
Right.
away on Canadians, man. Doesn't
Well, what
matter.
I hope, no, well, it's more, it's not that I'm firing away. It's more that it's sort of a borderline offensive. No, it's okay.
It's not offensive.
If I have to
That's who you
apologize,
want to insult. You want to insult the Canadians. We need any little bit of attention. We don't care.
Americans are just taking it out on other people.
It seems to be that way.
Yeah.
No.
Psychoanalyze the whole country.
Yeah, no. The America, great place. I live there, but my girlfriend's from there.
Yeah.
What am I gonna say?
Did you ever think that you'd be able to go far in hockey? Like, what did you think of your abilities?
Nah, I was too small. I was always just like a small kid, and I don't know. I didn't have like seeing like my buddy who was like such a good athlete and stuff like that. And he loved it. He tried so hard.
Too many exceptional people. Too many exceptional, hardworking people around.
Well, he was better than everybody. Like if I could find the VHS of this kid playing hockey, it was hilarious because we used to give him the puck, and he was like 8. He actually played a year up, so he used to just get the puck behind the net and deke everybody. Like it was like a video game. But I would always make sure that I'd go and I'd pass it to him a bit so I could get an assist. And then he'd deke everybody and score. So and then he had the drive and the passion at a young age. So like I would always look at him and be like, I'm not gonna make anything. This guy's way better than me, and has way better of a work ethic. It's done. It's over.
Yeah.
You know? So I knew that. Off the top. But I did like playing. You always dream about stuff like that, but realistically, you're like, I'm not gonna make the NHL. It's tough.
Yeah, and everyone I think gives up slightly too late. That's what I think. That's like the sad, tragic part. It's like there's no real right time to officially like mentally like, okay, I'm not going to be a professional hockey player. I'm not going to be a professional. I don't know. Like
no, but like, but like athletically, like in terms of athletics, like there is a certain like point where you're like, if you don't get to a level, like it's done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's coming either way.
Yeah, exactly.
What else were you into besides hockey? Like, were you listening to music or watching comedy or movies or any stuff like that?
I was only into sports. Playing. I was only into playing sports. I didn't have any other. I mean, but when in high school, I was into girls, I guess. But yeah. I wasn't really into music. I mean, I like music. Obviously, I'm not a psychopath, but I didn't. Right. I played the trombone, and I sucked. And my parents. For how long? Like grade 8, I guess. Grade 7 and 8. I was a trombone player, and I couldn't. Couple of years. I was small, so my like arm couldn't reach the last note. Like I was a disaster. And then I would bring it home, and my parents were like, they'd hide it because I sucked so much. I would bring it home for the weekend, and I'd bring it home Friday, and then I couldn't. I'm like, guys, where's my trombone? And they're like, oh, your dad has it. Your dad put it somewhere. And then my dad would be like, oh, your mom put it somewhere. And then they would ignore me. And then Monday rolls around, I got to go back to school, and there it is. It just showed up.
How are you supposed to practice? How are you supposed to practice?
They had no faith in me, in my trombone skills. And then I remember at the concert, when you go to like a concert, my mom was driving me there, and she was like, you don't have to blow into the thing. I'm like, what? She's like, just move your hands, like pretend. Wow. And she's like, I used to do that with the violin. I wasn't good at violin, so maybe you shouldn't blow in. And I'm like, okay. I guess she didn't want me to ruin the concert. Yeah, wow. I respect it though. She was right. I would have ruined that orchestra. I have so many follow-up questions. I feel like my head is spinning. Well, is that part of your act, that all this whole trombone playing experience and your parents telling you to? No. I feel like there's, I don't know. I'm not the stand-up comedian, but I feel like there's something in there. It is. In retrospect, how accepting. What's funny is how accepting you are of everything, of their point of view, and not like you knew trombone wasn't for you in the long run. No, my parents were right, man. My parents were like literally like they told me what I was good at, what I was bad at, and not bad to hurt my feelings. And they would be like, hey, if you like something, you have to improve on it. They weren't like delusional, like, oh, you're great at this, you're great at that. They're like, Alex, if you like this, you have to work harder because you're not good. And with the trombone, they knew I didn't care. They knew I didn't like it, so they were like, don't play. Don't embarrass us. They were in survival mode. They knew it was going to end soon enough. That's funny that they hit it. It's also a bad instrument, I think, to be bad at. Like, because you can on a guitar or even one of those like little recorders that elementary school kids, you could accidentally play Mary Had a Little Lamb or something like that. But with a trombone, and if you're not
I don't know. It can go
No, you're
bad
right, bro.
quickly, I
Even
feel like.
even if you're good at the trombone and you excel, it doesn't sound great. Like the trombone alone, a solo trombone is not good.
It needs to be with other instruments and other horns and other.
Hence the fact where they hit it on me. It wasn't like my dad was pulling out like a saxophone and like jamming with me. It was just me
How
playing the trombone.
I'll go going deep into trombone. How often have you seen a trombone player, like a street trombone player, a subway trombone? Yeah, when you're in New York City, you've probably never seen, even
Yeah,
in New York City, see a trombone player on the street.
I seen maybe
Maybe
one
not solo.
trombone
You probably
player.
weren't even alone.
I seen maybe one trombone player at like one of the worst subway stops, like not a good one. And I just
They don't get the good stops.
no, they don't get Times
No, no,
Square. They get
no
like
respect. You
they get
better
like
get a
Myrtle
saxophone, my
Wyckoff.
friend. You better get a sax, a guitar, start
Yeah,
singing.
they get Myrtle Wyckoff on the G, and when no one's there, the G doesn't run. And then I think I was with my girlfriend, and I was like, "This guy's parents wish they hid that on him or something." I made a joke about that. We both laughed, and that was the extent of me making jokes about trombone players. But
It's
yeah, I was not good.
It'd have to be a trombone player with and something else. They're like playing the drums with their feet. They're like singing in between playing. There'd have to be more. You can't just stand there and play trombone. Well, I mean, if you're amazing, but like, I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen it honestly.
Yeah, I'm glad we took so much time to cover something that you have so little passion for. Well, that's a way, that's definitely a way to learn about people, is learning what they, I mean, not even necessarily don't like, but like things that didn't work out. Even small things, there's an interesting story to it, I think.
That never had a chance. Yeah, the trombone never had a chance.
So going through high school, you thought you would fall into doing the trades, into doing
Nah,
something.
I like
Where
I
what were you thinking you'd head? Where were you thinking you'd
I
head?
always liked doing stand up. So I mean, I always wanted to do stand up. I watched Delirious, and I was like,
When did you watch Delirious? So you did watch.
probably like 16.
Yeah.
My parents had the VHS, and I didn't even understand the the jokes. Like I didn't get the references, but I thought it was so funny. Like the ice cream stuff I knew, like the stuff that's still like you could know today, but some things he was talking about in the references I didn't understand, but I was still laughing, and I was like, I liked it. I thought it was cool, and so I wanted to do it.
Yeah. Well, just from
And
Delirious. Wow.
yeah, well, that was the first one I saw, and then obviously I watched other stuff.
Did you start like writing right away? Did you start like doing jokes? You just kind of thought, oh, maybe I want to do this. Like,
No, I didn't start writing right away. I just wanted to, I wanted to do it, but I wanted to like check things out first before I got on stage, and look, go to shows and see other comics. You always want to see other comics and be
right.
like, oh, this person's not the greatest. I can do this. It's a stupid way to think, but when you first start, you need any little push to get on stage.
No, there's plenty of people who go to an open mic and don't perform the first time and perform the next time. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a common thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it takes time or it took me time at least for me to get up there, but definitely I was into stand up. I definitely liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it
So
was crazy. Yeah.
yeah, so you wanted to be a surprise the person you love, so to speak, or whatever for this episode. But it's not Eddie Murphy.
He's
No,
one of the people.
he's one of the people.
Yeah, I like a bunch of comics that inspire me.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Chappelle and Bill Burr and these guys like that. These like
Who came after Murphy? Like what came next?
I remember listening
comedy.
I remember listening to Chappelle in a car, like a audio. And me and my buddies were just laughing, like without the visual. This was like 2004, and we were dying of laughter. And I was like, okay, this guy's incredible too. And it made me want to do it more. And then I saw Bill Burr's special 2006 or something, 2007. And then I was like, okay, I want to do this for sure now. and that was that. And then
Had you started? Yeah. What steps were you taking? Were you taking any steps at this point, other than just in your mind, like gaining momentum in your mind, even?
I
Like,
was just going. I started after Bill Burr. I started going to shows around Toronto. Yeah,
you were a
I was
student.
like,
You were like a student. You were like taking notes, and like you were like a student at this point.
well, yeah. I was taking mental notes.
And this was in high school, like
No,
late.
I was like 2008.
This is later.
Yeah, I was like 21, 22.
What else? What were you doing when during the day? Because comedy's at night, as far as I understand.
I was working. Yeah, comedy's definitely. Well, sometimes comedy's not even at night. Trust me. If you go to the wrong show, it's not at night. It's a mental person. I was working construction.
Yeah.
And I was working at a restaurant. I'd work at a restaurant during the winter and construction in the summer, and then at night I would do comedy.
When did you start doing comedy? Did you say, like, what was your first stand-up experience?
2007, 2008.
And this was in Toronto, and you're doing construction. And where did you do?
Excavation, man.
What's that?
The movement of soil.
Removing the soil to do what? What are we putting in its place? Or
no, you move soil around so then you can put a foundation in.
Yeah, like a house.
Anything. It can be a house. It can be a parking lot. It can be, a bunch of shit. Condos.
Yeah, I want to own buildings and property and have these excavations on it.
Oh, do you? Yeah, that'd be
cool.
Nice, huh?
Yeah,
own
build my
yourself
own
a little
parking
condo?
lot. No, a parking lot is easy maintenance. What is required in a parking lot? I always imagine it being an easy thing too.
I don't know. We only did the excavation for it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's a whole other tangent.
I didn't really know what the hell I was doing there. I was just like checking the grade of the, if things were in line, and I was just like packing the soil. You know that thing from like what the hell is it? Austin Powers, when he's like, no, and then that thing is going at like a very slow speed. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe
that one scene. Whatever. I used to drive that thing.
But you knew how to do it. You were confident.
It's easy. It's easier than driving a car.
Yeah.
It's easy.
So
you had me responsibility.
So this was a relatively positive experience. Construction. What about or was it? Was? No. What was it? I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it was an okay job.
It was good money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are the pros and cons of construction, and what are the pros and cons of restaurant work, like at this time in your life?
The cons of construction are taking abuse from your family, just, getting screamed at all day. And it's like long hours and shit. And it's like you're in the sun. It's hard like work. Physical labor. It's not like it's not like a fucking picnic.
Yeah. And no doubt.
And it's just like, it's construction. There's no the PC police are not on the construction site. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
There's no
so I've heard.
Yeah, you know how Ellen's getting in shit for like a toxic environment?
Right, they don't know what toxic is.
No one who wrote any articles has been on a construction site. There's
some people that if you brought them, that I know, probably here in LA, if you brought them to a construction site and they heard what that we're imagining in our heads, their heads would explode.
Honest to God, they honest to God would say one thing and they would honestly get beat up. I swear to God, they would get beat up. The people who don't belong on the construction site? Yeah, they would be like, you can't say that. And then someone would just smack them. I swear to God, someone would be like, nope, and just smack them in the face.
Oh my goodness.
I've seen so many hilarious fights on construction sites for no reason, and it is the funniest shit ever, dude. It's
people
like
flying off roofs.
Dude, it's like fucking 50-year-old like immigrants who can't even speak English. They're like agreeing with each other, but their English is so bad that they think they're fighting, and they're just like they're like fully fighting at like 7 a.m. over nothing. And you're like, it's just insane. It's just a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah, it's not even about the fight. There's no logical reason or rational reason why people in these situations are fighting. Just some people. It's always about something else, or something psychological, something deeper, or just stupidity.
I think it's
I
just
don't
people
know.
who are amped up and they just, they don't know how to deal with their like emotions, and they're just like, oh, you asked me to fucking get a hammer, and they're just fighting with you. You're like, oh, whatever. Okay. It's like 5:30 in the morning. You're like, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe instead of the restaurant, I'll ask you about, or we can talk about that too, but I want to know more about the stand-up, your first stand-up experience. Were you writing up until
No, I didn't write.
when?
I didn't really
Where
write.
was it? And did you say that? I mean,
It was in Toronto.
yeah, I mean, was it an open mic or was it a show?
Yeah, it was at an open mic. It was at Yuck Yucks, this like chain of comedy clubs in
Yeah, I've
Toronto,
heard of it.
in
Yeah.
Canada. Yeah. So it was over there. It was at their open mic night. And I didn't really write anything. I just sort of had told stories that I told, my friends or my family growing up and stuff like that. I didn't really have like like jokes.
Yeah. How'd it go the first time? Do you remember? What's that?
I didn't really have jokes and stuff. It was just like stories I told my like family and friends and stuff.
Yeah. How'd it go?
I mean, it was my first time, I guess. It felt good for my first time, but it was probably abysmal.
Who was there that were there? Were people there that you knew, friends, anyone there?
One of my friends that I would tell him like, hey, I want to do comedy, and he was like, yeah, do it, and he came. But I remember like the first saying something on the first thing I ever said on stage. I was certain it was gonna get a laugh, certain, and I said it, and no one said anything back. It was pure silence.
Yeah.
And it literally fucking rocked me. Like I went, whoa. Like I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
I've experienced it like obviously now all the time, but I don't care anymore, and I know how to get out of it. But that first time where the first thing that I ever said on stage, I was like, I don't even know what it was, but I was so confident. And the lack of a response honestly fucked me up. I felt it in my head. Have you ever got punched in the face? Have you?
No, I don't think I've ever got punched in the face like directly.
Okay, well, if you get punched in the nose, you feel it in your head. Like you feel this weird, like it goes like behind your eyes. It felt like that.
Yeah, I've broken my nose now that I think about it.
It felt like that without the pain, but the like weirdness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It fucked me up, and I just remember like thinking, I'm like, oh, this is hard. And then I remember I'm like, I have 5 minutes. I'm realizing how hard this is. And I just started. I'm fucked.
You should have asked for 3.
Yeah, up there?
3 minutes.
Please light me early. Yeah, but so that was that.
Oh, no, not when you're up there beforehand. But you didn't expect...
I thought I was going to fucking murder.
Yeah. But where did we go from there? Like what...
So
because you don't... I mean, you obviously weren't discouraged.
No, but the host of the club was like, when you get off, he's like, yo, give it up. That was his first time. So people are like, oh, okay.
Right, yeah, but it's always a supportive environment for the first time. The second time.
Yeah, they were like, well, that's why he was fucking trash, right?
Right, of course, yeah.
So then he came
Context.
up and and I was like, how was it? And he was sort of like an old school, like, been doing comedy forever. And he had a couple screws loose, this guy. And then he's like, don't even ask me until you get on stage like 500 times. He's like, it doesn't count until you're 500 sets in. And I'm like, okay. And then I started going out after that.
That seems like that's not that bad advice, especially from a guy with a screw loose.
No, he was right.
Yeah.
He was definitely right. So
that's
was
good
that
advice.
And then I regretted every day for the last 13 years.
Every day, not like
I'm kidding. I just joke that's one thing that
every once in a while.
No, every comic, like we always just joke about how shit it is, but it's the best thing. Honestly, even when like, you're, especially now with COVID and not being able to perform, man, I would fucking, pay to be in front of 8 people who at a bar who are drunk, 5 months ago, I would have been like, fuck that. But now I'm like, I just, I can't wait to perform again, do comedy again. So.
Does anyone ever officially like quit stand-up comedy? Like, how long do you have to get into it before you're like, okay, I will kind of want to do this for the rest of my life, or like I'm always gonna want to at least do this once in a while? Like
Everyone quits all the time. People quit all the time.
People do quit all the time, but like
all after
whether they've been in it for 2 years, whether they've been in it for 10 years, whether they've been in it for 6 years, whether they've been in it for 6 months, people of all different experience lengths.
All different.
Yeah.
All different. They just say, fuck it. I admire a guy who's been doing it for 20 years and then they go, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. I'm done with it. And I understand, if your goal is to like, everybody's goal is to like be the best comedian they can be and make money and do this. But if you lose that passion of performing and it's only about the other thing, you're fucked. You got to have that balance.
It's brave to quit. It's brave to quit. I got you.
Dude, big time.
No. In the way you're saying it, that makes sense. And that there is truth in that, because a lot of people feel obligated to do things that in reality probably not obligated to do, especially if it doesn't bring them happiness, fulfillment, joy, financial reward, or goals that you thought it would, or I don't know.
I have no idea why why people do comedy. I mean, I know my friends why they would do it, but a lot of comics I really don't know their goals and their shit. So
it's fun because it's fun, isn't it fun?
For me, it is. So that's why I do it. But everybody's different, I guess.
Well, tell me more about like your journey and like where did you go from, with the first year you were doing comedy, were you hitting clubs every night? Where were you finding other inspiration in your comedy journey? Were you continuing to do construction and restaurant stuff? Like where did your life go in your, I guess, mid-20s?
I was doing early to mid-20s. I was working during the day and I was doing comedy at night, and I just loved doing comedy, and I was just going to every show I could possibly do. Music, open mics, bar shows. I still do all these shows, not as much now, but any show, even horrible shows I would do. And I had a group of people that I was, friends with, and we would all go at the same time because we were all sort of new to stand up. So it was exciting for us. And that was basically it. And it was cool to be in Toronto and see a bunch of people who are, 8 years in or, 5 years in, and you're like, oh, these people are awesome. And then you become friends with them. So that was a cool part of doing comedy too, is people you would see at shows do well, and you're like, oh my God, that guy's awesome. And then next thing you know, you're at their house and, you're hanging out with them, and, it's cool.
Yeah, you guys sounds like you met people who were sort of, I guess, at the same level, so to speak, like sort of new at it, but also sort of committed, definitely committed to getting better. And I'm sure you and your group of friends, like if you were at it every night watching comedy, writing, and getting out there, that you guys got better.
Yeah, I'm still friends with the people I started with. We're all still doing it, and a lot of them moved to, 3 of them moved to LA, and then a couple moved to New York. So it's like, everyone's still doing it. And for the most part, and
yeah, I saw you perform. Did I not, in LA? You were funny. I remember. That's why I have you on my list, and that's why I asked you to be on this podcast in the first place. I think you performed. Oh no, I met you at a show.
No, I met you after I did a set in
at the bookstore.
At Stories. Yeah, Good Heroin.
Yeah.
The show's Good Heroin. Yeah, it's a good show. That's a good show. That's one of the best shows in LA.
No, that was a fun show. But things have changed since then, unfortunately.
No, what happened?
I don't know, a few things.
Really?
I'm searching for a punchline, but I'm not quick enough. I'm not an actor.
Tell
I'm
me
not
more.
tell me more
Yeah,
about
no.
coronavirus and civil and political unrest
You know what's fucked though? That show's outside.
and no shows.
That
That show was outside.
what the fuck? Of all the shows that could still go down, it should be that one, you know?
Yeah, you just have a smaller audience. That's all, unfortunately, because it was packed with
Yeah, I
every
know.
week. You got to get there early to get a seat.
Yeah, they can't do it the same way they would do it now. There's no
Yeah,
way.
I have a secret place I sit there where I can come anytime and there's a seat.
Did you go all the time to that place?
No, I think I went a couple of times, 2-3 times, but yeah, that was a super fun show.
Yeah, it's
What's the name of that show? I forget. Good Heroin.
Good heroin. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of name of a show is that? Don't you know that we're in a what do you call it when there's like a addiction? Not a pandemic.
There's always something for everything. Yeah, people gotta fucking complain about everything.
Not big pharma. I forget what the word is.
Big pharma. I would love someone to complain about the name of the comedy show. This isn't right for people with addiction.
Yeah.
Construction worker comes, punches him in the face.
Yeah. I'm a offended heroin addict.
Hits him with a shovel.
Oh man, so violent.
Well, aren't you from New York?
Yeah, I'm from Long Island. I'm from New York originally, but I've been in LA a long time now. Yeah.
I remember we talked in the back.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I remember talking. I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, I saw him do a set. I remember he was funny. I remember that's why I wrote his name down. But I do remember talking. That's why for a second I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't see him and we just talked.
No, and
yeah, you performed.
I have a good memory. You're a Mets fan, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we talked.
There you
sports.
go. Of course.
I remember you're of course you're a big sports fan as we covered already. But what about your comedy journey? Like from there with your group and why are you not in LA? I mean, obviously, I just named. We just kind of discussed why no one should move here. But before the insanity, why? Oh, you were in New York.
Yeah, I mean, I live in New York. I live in Astoria.
Yeah, what made you decide on New York versus LA, and when did you move to New York? Tell me about that.
Moved to New York 2014. I wanted to do stand up, and LA. I mean, it's you can't do as much stand up, so that's the gist of it.
It wasn't that you wanted to stay closer.
That helped, but no, it was all the stand up is the there's just way too many shows in New York, so
everywhere
stand up is just like New York is
even because LA is. I mean, I'll defend LA's scene a little bit. I think LA is a pretty good scene.
Oh, it's great, but
what makes New York stand out even more? It's just more quantity of shows, even like what private shows or clubs or more.
There's just more shows in period, like more stand up shows in period. There's more clubs. There's more, and with LA, you have to have a little bit of fame or a lot of fame to get on the good shows. So it's just a person who's just up and coming. It's easier to get good stage time in New York. That's my experience. At least that's what people told me, and it seems to be the case. But I do like LA. I think LA has a lot of, good comics, a lot of great comics, and a lot of my friends moved there too. But just for me, New York seemed like a better fit.
You just sort of wanted to do more and like outgrew Toronto? It was just kind of time career wise and in your life, and just you were ready kind of thing. It was time.
Yeah,
kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, fuck yeah. Going to New York, I don't know if you're ever going to be ready for that.
Right. I imagine maybe not.
You're just, you could be like, I don't know what experience you've had to go through in your life to get put in the middle of New York, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I could do this. It's gonna rock you, regardless of your experience or your age or anything like that. But yeah, just with Canada, there's just a little bit of a ceiling here when it comes to entertainment. They just don't have the resources and the money that, as I say this, now so many shows are being made in Canada, which is always, I fucking hate that. I hate like watching TV and then looking in the background of a show or, anything, a movie. And I'm like, that's fucking Toronto. And I'm like, I fucking moved spend 10 grand on a green card when I could have stayed. So much shit gets filmed in Toronto. So I'm like, most there's just a ceiling in Canada. The money.
You act? Do you act also?
I tried a little bit, but I'm not. When I first used to come out to LA, I used to go for pilot season, and because my agent was there, and she would send me out on these auditions, but I don't have no acting experience. So I was like in these fucking like rooms, and she'd send me on these like fucking, she's like, okay, you got to go to like Warner Brothers, and I'd be like, what the fuck? And I'd go into these audition rooms, and I'm not bad, but like if you compare me to an actor, I'm not going to be good.
Do you have any training?
No, I actually got a call back one time, and my agent was like, yo, you should go and get a private lesson. So before I went to my callback, I did a private lesson at some weird guy's house.
Yeah, how'd it go?
And I took my Meisner level 1. Yeah, it was good. I didn't get the role.
Oh, but you got some background information and some like foundational stuff, I'm sure, for acting, or no? In one ear, out the other.
I mean, it's hard, dude. You can't just learn it for 6 months and then just go into this audition room with a bunch of other people who like are trained. It's just like if an actor like started doing comedy, you could like tell. I could tell. Like if an actor starts doing comedy, I'm like, this guy is an actor doing comedy. And I'm sure when I went into audition rooms, the casting agents would be like, this guy's a comedian who's trying to act. Yeah. Or like he's something trying to act. So it's just like a different skill. It's a different muscle that you gotta work on. Yeah,
I still think about that as a David Spade joke. I don't know that we posted it on the internet or like it was in one of his acts, but he's talking about how like anybody can act, because Jennifer Hudson, like she's an amazing singer and she's gotten all this like singing recognition, albums, and been singing in movies and all this stuff. And she finished like 8th on American Idol. Yeah, she didn't win. She didn't really come that close. And but then like her first, and in her first acting performance, she won an Oscar. No training.
I don't know what movie.
Why are you not Jennifer Hudson?
I don't know. Level talent. Fuck. Also, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't care about. I've never been like a movie person or like a. You're not. I literally just started watching TV during the pandemic. Honest to God, I haven't watched shit in
stand up. You watch obviously live. You see live stand up. Well, it did.
Yeah,
that was kind of your form of entertainment that you kind of consumed.
And I watch sports.
Yeah, sports. But
I honestly had I swear to God I wouldn't watch TV. I still don't. Like now I have a girlfriend and we watch shit because I have to. But I just don't. I never cared. I don't know anything about pop culture. Like I don't know shit.
No, I'm very similar actually, but you're almost like an even more extreme version of me. It's not in a bad way, but yeah, like I don't really watch that much TV all that often. I mean, I watch stuff on like YouTube or whatever. I guess that counts, but I don't like sit down and watch episode after episode, show after show. I don't like watch every single thing on Netflix, Amazon Prime. I'm not like a binge watcher. Like I feel like I can't sit still that long.
Yeah, I can't. I also think I have like we all have a bit of like ADHD, but mine like what I can't do. I don't know if you could do this because you're from New York, but everything that's said in New York, movies, TV, I always honestly look at the background and I just try to see where that is and see if there's like stores that I know there. I swear to God, I can't watch a fucking thing set in New York. I was trying to watch Spider-Man the other day and it's in Queens and all I could do was look at the background. I was like, where are they? What stop is that? What street is that? Oh, is there a bodega there? Like, I could not focus, and I missed like fucking half the movie.
I
You
guess.
do that?
I mean, no, but I do recognize places, and it is exciting, and it is exciting to the point where it pulls you out of the movie. So it's understandable.
All the time.
When you recognize something, it pulls you out. It can pull you out of the story, especially if you're watching it with someone. You're going to comment to them because you can't help yourself.
Buddy, my girlfriend watches Law and Order, and at the bottom it says like the actual like address. I'm done. I can't focus. I don't know who's killed anybody. I don't know who the fucking murderers are. I'm always just like looking. I'm like, is that the Upper West Side? And I'm like, that fucking store's not there. I'm completely out of my mind. I can't focus.
What about like any highlights of your comedy career? Any memorable moments stand out to you, or people you've met?
Yeah, I've opened for like some good people, and I've done like some theaters. I've done festivals and just for laughs, and I've done some TV in Canada. I want to make money though. Like, I want to legitimately make money. Like, all that's great and all that stuff's awesome, but I'm like, all right, it's time to fucking make some money doing this. Like, legitimate money, where I don't have to fucking look at my goddamn bank account every time I want to order like fucking guac or something. You know that level of not having money, where you like fucking.
I'm not a rich man.
You gotta like look at statements before you fucking order a salad. You want to put chicken on it? You're like, what the hell am I doing?
Is this in your act? Forever? Is this in your act?
No, it's not. But I mean,
it's more like the rhythm, and it's more like the rhythm of the way you're talking makes me think that maybe something is it could be a bit. It's like there it goes.
I appreciate that. I like how you're like, it's not the context. The context is absolutely trash. The rhythm, however, that's
it's funny stuff. No, it's funny too.
You know what I mean, though? Like, you're just so fucking poor. Like, not that you're poor. Well, yeah, I guess you're poor, but you're just like, every fucking month you're just getting by like by the skin of your teeth.
And you know what? We're probably still, I'm pretty sure, in the 1% of the world. It's still better to be, where we are. I'm speaking generally, obviously, about us and we and the world, but still, could be worse, and it is in most of the world, I think.
Yeah,
still, unfortunately.
I mean, what are you comparing me to? Someone from Botswana? Like, yeah, okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, not just a third world country per se, but someone poor in the third world country. So
yes,
I don't know.
Someone doing horrific in Tanzania. I appreciate that.
Balance between being grateful and wanting more. Is that what we're trying to achieve?
I don't fucking know. I
you don't know? I thought that was deep. I was like, I'm being deep.
I know. I just kept thinking about fucking, like, again, checking my bank statement to see if I can get fucking salsa.
Yeah.
You ever been at Chipotle and they go, do you want guac? And then you're like, excuse me. And then you got to go to like your TD app and you're like, nope.
What are we going to do with you?
You go, not today, guys. Not today.
What are we going to do with you? You never told me the comedian / friend who inspired you. You said you had someone in mind.
Oh, this loser. His name's Dave. This guy, Dave Merheje. He's a friend of mine. When I started in Toronto, I saw him in Toronto, and he was sort of doing comedy a bit different than everybody else. And he wasn't really like he didn't really have like punchlines and jokes. He was like a rambling maniac, but he was fucking awesome. But he was like someone I saw that I said, oh, okay, if he can do this, then I can do it. But not in a bad way. Not in like, oh, he sucks. I'm in a way that it's like more suitable to my humor.
Are you friends with that guy?
Yeah, he's doing amazing now.
What's his name again? Say it one more time.
His name's Dave Merheje. Yeah, he's doing really well. He's on a show called Rami on Hulu. And he's like a main character, but he's been doing comedy for like, fuck, man, at least 12 years. So I'm sorry, Sorry,
I was
at
gonna
least.
ask if he's in Canada. Is he still in Canada?
No, he lives in LA. He's been doing
Oh,
comedy for like
okay.
20 years, dude. Not 12. I've been doing
Oh,
comedy
that's
for like
cool.
13. So yeah,
Yeah,
so he's working, he's like a main character on this show now. So
that's
he's
awesome.
doing well. Yeah, he's doing well. So but
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you emulate his style of comedy when you first started? Because you saw him, he kind of made you. It sounds like he sort of inspired you to like even keep going, or in the early
yeah,
days.
I
Did you
for
try
sure.
to beat like his weird style? Was that like an
Yeah.
influence?
Yeah, I think I did it, it looks like I was copying him pretty much. It looked like I was ripping
Right.
him off, but I wasn't doing it on purpose. He was just
Right.
someone that I liked, and then I saw what he was doing was working. So I would probably like naturally try to like emulate what he was doing, but sometimes I guess it would come. People tell me they're like, "Hey man, you're doing what Dave does." So
Wow.
but hey, but I get it. You got to like do your own thing. So then I was like, oh
You
fuck,
found your voice.
that's
Did you find your voice eventually?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
of
sure.
course. That's funny, and that's totally not unusual, and it seems usual because I've talked to a bunch of stand-up comedians who, when they first start out, it seems fairly common. They will try to emulate someone who they like, who's not really like them for some reason. It's like, oh, they're funny because you're sort of drawn to what you think you can't do. Like you're amazed by it. You're like, I can't imagine me doing like that, so I'm gonna like try to like I
Well,
don't know.
well,
People are drawn to styles that's not them.
luckily for me, I am sort of similar to him. We sort of are similar. So that's why I did like him. But
Yeah.
I was being too much like him, So
Still, yeah.
it was just like you don't want to, and he was like starting to get really big in Toronto, so people would be like, what are you doing? But it wasn't just me, it was a bunch of people that were emulating him, and but now people say things like that to me when I come back. They're like, yo, there's this kid who's like, man, like people say he's doing you, and I'm like,
That's
well, then
flattering,
he
right?
likes me, like he enjoys me and stuff like that. But it's just natural though, dude. It's like fucking hard to comedy's hard, and when you go up
Right.
there, you're just like in survival mode, you know.
Did you have a personal relationship with him? Like, did you
Yeah,
guys ever
we're
talk
good
comedy?
friends.
You are good? Or do you still keep in touch?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we're good friends.
Does
So
he try to get you to move to LA at all, or you vice versa?
no, he moved to LA around the same time I moved to New York, but then he didn't like LA and he moved to New York, and then he got a job working, and then he's back. So
Yeah, things change. Things change for sure.
yeah,
Things can
things
change.
change. So
Well, that's cool. Well, good for him,
yeah, man.
and good for you, and everyone keep on going and making comedy, and hopefully we can see live shows soon enough. Jesus Christ, I keep saying the same thing every week. 2021 is pretty much all I can almost like. I mean, who
I
knows?
know it's crazy.
I'd say I was saying that as a joke, but now that maybe we're not even going to see anything next year, like live is going to be very limited. Who the hell knows? But I don't really want to get
I don't
into
fucking know, man.
all that shit right now. But what about besides to make more money? Do you have any other comedy dreams, goals, plans, either for the near future,
Yeah,
or distant future or whatever, 5-10 years, or I don't know. What do you think? Where are we going?
obviously because comedy hasn't been really happening, obviously, or it hasn't been happening. These last whatever, how long has it been? 5-6 months.
Yeah,
Um, you're sitting and you're thinking, what the fuck am I gonna do now? What can I possibly do? And I've been starting to, which I didn't think I was gonna do, but me and a friend are just starting to loosely try to write a movie right now. So that's something
great.
that I didn't have any ambition to do at all. I didn't really care. I don't watch movies. I don't care. But it sort of became this organic idea between the two of us, and we're pals, and you know, there's nothing to do now. And we
Right.
just started slowly talking about an idea, and then one thing led to another, and now, you know, we're slowly trying to write this thing, and I'm excited for that.
That's
For
cool.
sure.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good to have another sort of thing that you're trying to work on.
No
Just
doubt.
in general, not even because it's, you know, COVID, just like, you know,
Yeah, just to
different
keep
things are
working.
better.
Yeah, all irons on the fires for sure. What
Yeah,
about
no.
stand up? Is it to tour big tours? Is it a Netflix special? What is like the long term stand up? Do you always want to do stand up? Will you always
Oh
want to do
yeah,
it?
that's my goal. That's my goal, is to like is to get on some sort of, to get recognition just to do comedy.
Yeah,
Because you know, it's comedy now, you need like a following, you need like Instagram followers, you need something and to sell out. And you know, I want to get something, not for like the fame or the to be in. It's weird because like back in the day, you do comedy to get things, you
right.
know, movies, TV, but now it's like you
You
get
do things to
on.
get attention on your comedy.
It's weird. It's so weird, you know. But yeah, so I'm again. Hopefully, I could just, you know, do something where it can make me do more comedy.
Yeah,
That's all I
get more
care about.
attention, get better gigs, and the whole thing.
Yeah,
Once
that's all
there
I
are
really care
gigs,
about.
there are become more gigs again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, cool. I definitely appreciate your time. I've definitely taken up plenty of it. Cool story, bro. No, it was. I appreciate hearing everyone's journeys and stories.
Cool.
Like
No worries.
I learn a lot from everyone, and I'm still, you know, even after talking to people, I'm still sort of processing things that come up in these podcasts, and they're coming up in other conversations and, you know, other areas of my life.
Yeah.
Just hearing
I
from
got you.
people's journeys.
I feel you, bro. No better time than now. I mean, there's nothing else to do except hear what people have to say.
Yeah, that's all we have. That's all we have is Zoom. Why don't you tell people where they can find you, follow you, anything else you want to plug, promote? The floor is yours.
They can follow me at Mr. Alex Pavone, Pavone, on Instagram, and that's it. I'm off Twitter, man. Fuck Twitter. I got rid of it during the pandemic, but Instagram, and that's it, man. I that's all I really got right now.
It's MR, Mr. or Mr.
Yeah,
spelled out? MR.
yeah, MR, and then
Yeah,
Alex.
I got you. Cool. Well, have a good rest of your evening. I know you're
You too,
on
bro.
East Coast time there. But
All
again,
right,
I
bro.
appreciate your time, man.
No worries, man.
Take it
All
easy.
right, take it
Later.
easy. Later, buddy.
So there you have it. My conversation with Alex Pavone. That was fun. The trombone story cracks me up. His parents really were looking out for him there. I believe that. For real, though, I again thank Alex for his time. Anyway, for everything about this show, of course, head to peoplewelovepodcast.com. That's peoplewelovepodcast.com. And I think that's about all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks as always. Hope everyone's doing okay out there. And let's talk soon. Peace.